South Africa's economy is collapsing. Here is what the government isn't telling you. In this video, we are breaking down why prices are skyrocketing, why jobs are disappearing, and why foreign investors are fleeing, all while your everyday expenses keep rising. Stick around because this affects every single South African. Point 1. The cost of living explosion. Every South African feels it the moment they walk into a supermarket or pay their electricity bill. Essentials that were once affordable are now eating up half your paycheck. A loaf of bread that used to cost just over 10 Rand a few years ago is now double. Fuel hikes push up the price of everything you buy, from food to transport, because trucks and taxis have to recover costs. And while your groceries, petrol and electricity bills are soaring, your salary is not. Wages have been stagnant for years, while inflation keeps climbing. The result? Your money is worth less every single month, and there's no relief in sight. This isn't just an inconvenience, it's the slow strangling of the middle and working class. Families are being forced to make impossible choices: pay the rent or buy food, keep the lights on or fill the tank. Point 2. Unemployment and job market collapse. Now add this to the second crisis: unemployment. South Africa has one of the highest unemployment rates in the world. Officially, it's above 30%. But the real number is much worse when you count those who've simply given up looking for work. For young people, the rate is close to 60%. That means more than half of our youth have no job, no income, and no future in sight. Even skilled workers are battling to find stable employment. Every year, thousands graduate from universities and colleges, only to face a job market with nothing waiting for them. This level of unemployment is a ticking time bomb. It fuels poverty, desperation and crime, while robbing South Africa of the very generation that should be building its future. Point 3. Foreign investor exodus, investor flight. And here's the hidden truth the government won't tell you. South Africa is bleeding investment. Global companies are no longer betting on this economy. They're packing up and leaving. ArcelorMittal is shutting down operations. Ford has scaled back production. Goodyear closed its plant in Port Elizabeth. Coca-Cola has downsized. Shell is exiting the market. These aren't small businesses. These are giants of industry. When they leave, they don't just take their money with them. They take thousands of jobs. They take tax revenue. They take opportunities for local suppliers. And they take confidence in South Africa's future. This is investor flight in action. Capital leaving South Africa because the risks are too high, the crime too rampant, the corruption too deep, and the electricity too unreliable. And once investors leave, they don't come back. The result is an economy with fewer jobs, fewer opportunities. Point 4. Eskom and the energy crisis. No conversation about South Africa's economy is complete without Eskom. Load shedding is not just an inconvenience, it is one of the single biggest threats to our economy. Every blackout means factories stop running, small businesses lose money, shops can't operate, and households are forced to live in the dark. For businesses, the costs are devastating. Restaurants have to throw away spoiled food. Manufacturers shut down machines for hours. Entrepreneurs who rely on Wi-Fi, laptops, or machinery can't work. And when companies lose money, they cut back on staff or close their doors completely. The energy crisis is a chain reaction. It kills productivity, drives unemployment, scares off investors, and pushes the cost of living even higher because companies must spend millions on generators, fuel, and backup systems. Eskom's failures are not just about keeping the lights on. They are about whether South Africa can even function as a modern economy. Point 5. Inflation and currency devaluation. Now let's talk about inflation and the Rand. The Rand has lost massive value against major currencies over the last decade. That weak Rand makes imports more expensive. And since South Africa imports a huge amount of goods, from fuel to food to electronics, everything you buy costs more. Inflation eats away at your savings and destroys your ability to plan for the future. Think about it. A salary that once felt enough now barely covers essentials. The middle class is being hollowed out. For the poor, survival gets harder every month. And while ordinary citizens are forced to adjust their lives, the government continues to downplay the seriousness of this currency crisis. In other countries, inflation of 5 or 6% sparks alarm. In South Africa, double-digit increases in food and fuel prices barely make the news anymore. The truth is, the rand's decline is not just numbers on a chart. It's why your grocery basket is smaller, your petrol tank empties quicker, and your rent feels unbearable. Point 6. Government debt and mismanagement. At the root of all these crises lies a deeper problem: government debt and mismanagement. South Africa's national debt has ballooned to levels that are simply unsustainable. The government spends more than it earns year after year, borrowing to cover the shortfall. But where does this money go? Instead of investing in growth, infrastructure, or job creation, too much of it disappears into corruption, mismanagement, and waste. State-owned enterprises like Eskom and Transnet are bleeding money while delivering worse and worse services. Corruption scandals break almost weekly, yet accountability is rare. And the more the government borrows, the more taxpayers will have to pay back in the future, through higher taxes, weaker services, and less money available for real development. This is why South Africa feels stuck. If you found this video valuable, make sure you hit that subscribe button right now so you don't miss our next breakdown, and drop your thoughts in the comments. What part of the economy do you feel the most in your own life? Is it the cost of groceries, the lack of jobs, or the constant load shedding? We want to hear your voice, because your story matters. Now, let's quickly pull the threads together. South Africa's economy is collapsing, and not because of bad luck, but because of deep, connected failures. All of these problems connect to government debt and mismanagement. Money is borrowed, wasted, or stolen, while state-owned enterprises crumble, services decline, and taxpayers are left with the bill. These are not isolated issues. They are parts of the same collapsing structure. Rising prices, disappearing jobs, fleeing investors, blackouts, inflation, and government failure are not 6 different problems. They are 6 sides of the same crisis. And unless something changes, that crisis will only deepen. But here's the truth. Waiting for government to fix this mess is not an option. If you want to protect yourself and your family, you need information, you need awareness, and you need to think ahead. That's why we do what we do here. Because understanding these economic indicators is the first step to outsmarting them. So before you leave, make sure you've subscribed, because this conversation doesn't end here. The more South Africans we reach, the louder our collective voice becomes. Share this video, leave your comment, and stay with us as we continue to break down the truth the headlines won't tell you. At Economic Indicators, we do not wait for the economy to change. We outsmart it.